Hey, this is Dr. Eric Fields. I've been talking a lot this past week or so about motivation, and I'm spending a lot of time on this subject because I think it's absolutely critical. So, one of the positives that I want to share with you about kind of the trajectory of motivation during the weight loss process is counter to what a lot of people believe, which is, oh my gosh, this is going to be such a long journey. I have 50 plus pounds to lose, 70 pounds to lose, 100 pounds to lose, maybe even more. Um, and it just sounds like this unbelievable obstacle that they have to, kind of surpass. But the one thing that I really want to share with you is counter to what you think in terms of the longer you go down this path, the harder it will be. First I start off doing it the first week, and that's fine. It's a refreshing change in my routine. I'm feeling good about myself, doing something positive, not waking up feeling guilty anymore. It's been a nice break from all that. And then the second week comes, still feeling good. The third week, fourth week, and then eventually the fear is that you're going to get to a certain point where you're just like, I can't keep doing this. This is too long. And you may have even experienced that. So let me address that first. If you have ever experienced that, where you get to like the fourth, fifth, sixth week, and the motivation really starts declining, one or two things are most likely going on. One, you're failing to make progress. That's the absolute most probable reason why you'd start to give up after your fourth or fifth week, let's say, and your motivation really hits, really starts to plummet. So we want to develop a plan that sets ourselves up for success, obviously. That's really important. And one where we're making progress. Now, the other part, which I think is more in people's minds, it's made up, which is, well, let's say I'm making progress, but at a certain point, I'm going to just say this is too hard. That's probably more something in your mind that you just think or expect. That's probably that's not true. Okay. Now, it is possible, and so I'm going to kind of dissect this latter fear or concern. It is possible that you actually were making progress for 4 or 5 weeks, let's say. Maybe you're losing 2 to 3 pounds a week, and then you give up. Why would you give up if you're making good progress? Well, I am willing to bet you the reason why you gave up was because your plan caused way too much misery, feelings of deprivation. Um, it was a plan that was way too difficult to endure long term. And so, again, it comes back to setting ourselves up for success, creating a plan where not only is it going to be successful in the sense that we lose weight, but also it's something we can stick with and it's not agonizing. When I finally got this right, when I finally figured this out for myself, I created a plan that was pretty easy to follow. I'll tell you when it got difficult. When it got difficult, when I was really trying to get like in the top shape of my life, and I wanted to lose that last 10 pounds and try to get a six pack. That's when it got really difficult. So if those are your aspirations where you're not just losing weight and looking great and feeling great and proud of your body, but you're actually trying to take it to the next level where you're getting ready to almost be in a fitness competition, or you want the six pack abs. Yeah. um, from the point where you're looking great to the point where you have six-pack abs, that is definitely a grueling process. I'm not going to lie, but I'm willing to bet the large majority of you watching my videos, the large majority of you following me, do not have those kinds of aspirations. You just want to get in really good shape, have a body you can be proud of, be really, really healthy and fit and everything else. And so if that's the goal, that is not difficult to reach, and it is not grueling. And it is not even the type of thing where it's, oh, I got to endure this plan for like a year, 2 years. Any plan that you feel like you have to endure is not a good plan. Your plan really should just be these lifestyle changes that are not difficult, that do not lead to misery and deprivation. Because then, yeah, if that's the kind of plan you set up for yourself, or you're going to set up for yourself, or you have set up for yourself, then you are definitely going to give up eventually. Because who the heck wants to go through that much pain and misery for, months and months and months? Life is too short. So for those of you that this is more of like a fabrication in your mind, that you just think that, the longer you're on this plan, the more difficult it will will become, I'll tell you right now, is a falsehood. In fact, here's the great news that you've been waiting for since I started this video. The longer you're on this plan that you've created, that you can stick with, that is resulting in consistent progress every week, the easier it is. And there are a couple reasons for this, right? So the first reason is pretty simple. You just get used to it. It doesn't become that big of a change anymore. This becomes your new lifestyle. And that's really what I want to emphasize here, that it's lifestyle changes. We're not on a diet. Whenever you hear me use the word diet, I mean that in a very general way, like in, the way that, a nutritionist would use it, or, the Food and Drug Administration would use it. Basically, it has the connotation that it's just your style of eating, right? I don't mean it in that narrowly defined diet deprivation, miserable short-term kind of plan. So I'm going to try to avoid using that word so there's no confusion. What we're really talking about is a lifestyle change, an eating plan, because it is a plan. It's a plan that you have to eat in a certain way with some guidelines, not rules, that will lead to consistent weight loss. And the plan can get tweaked and revised over the course of your life, because it sounds scary, like over the course of my life, but it's just a plan. It's just like, yeah, this is how I plan to eat most of the time, not 100% of the time. We talked about how you have to develop a plan that's very flexible. And when certain events come up, you have to account for that. And you can strategize with that. And there are plans that you can come up with to navigate around those events. But basically, it really comes down to making this a commitment to change your pattern of eating. And that's another thing or way you can describe it. It's a new pattern, a new lifestyle pattern that you're creating, okay? And it gets easier. And I'll tell you, it's not just because you get used to it. Here's the best part. When you start losing weight, so let's say the first week you're into it, you lose 3 pounds. You're like, God, this is great. The next week, you're going to be really motivated to do everything you did that first week because you already saw some great results. You lost 3 pounds. And as long as a plan is one you can easily live with, that doesn't cause a lot of misery or pain, then the second week should go pretty flawlessly. And then after the second week, you see another couple pounds that you've lost. And every week, if you've developed a plan that successfully results in you losing weight and is easy to stick with, Why in the world would you give that up when you're seeing results every single week? Then the further into your weight loss journey you go, the even easier it becomes, because now you actually have something to lose. No pun intended, right? So in other words, you've been on this plan for about a month and you've lost like maybe 10, maybe even 15 pounds. We don't want to stop now. We've lost 10 to 15 pounds. This is significant. People are actually starting to comment that we look thinner, that we've lost some weight. And we know we've lost the weight. And it's a good amount of weight, right? It's double-digit weight loss, right? When you start getting even further into the plan, now you're down 20, 30, 40 pounds. To then say the hell with this is even more difficult, because to convince yourself to say the hell with it and give in to the binge eating or the excessive food grazing, or just extra calories that are for emotional reasons or just based on mindless eating. I mean, it's so hard to convince yourself at that point to give up. So as you go down this path, it becomes easier as long as, here's the two keys, the plan is working, you're losing weight, and it's not that difficult to stick with. It's really not difficult at all to stick with. Okay? So there's the good news, folks. Doing it alone is wonderful, but as I went over yesterday, nothing wrong with doing it with help. At the end of the day, it's still you who's doing it. When you work with me, I'm going to help you a ton in providing you support and really making sure you're on track and tweaking things as necessary so that we develop a plan that's successful and one that you can stick with. And also dealing with any self-sabotaging behavior that can derail you from that. But at the end of the day, when you step on that scale and you've lost weight, I don't want you to say, oh, Dr. Fields did this. No, 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 no. You did this. That's you. You did what you needed to do that week. I helped you find the skills and strategies that were best for you. I helped you develop a plan, but you were the one that stuck with the plan and lost the weight. And that's all you. I'll have more to say next time. This is Dr. Eric Fields. Talk soon.